See it over there. Ready. Hello, South Orangetown Middle School 7th and 8th grade students. I think most of you know us, but if not, if you happen to be a new student or you forgot, we'll reintroduce ourselves. My name is Dr. Corey. I'm the principal of the middle school.
I'm Mr. Onatibia. I'm the assistant principal. Hey, everyone.
We hope everyone had a great summer and excited to start off the school year. It is going to be a different start to the year, as we all know, but it doesn't change the excitement that the staff here has to welcome you back. The purpose of this YouTube Live is twofold. First off, just want to let you know, being upfront, this is new for Mr. Onatibia and I. We did a first YouTube Live event about an hour and a half ago with the 6th grade. And so this is our second one. And probably like you, there's a lot of newness. And this is one new thing that we've looked to explore so that we can reach many students and be able to, provide information and be able to potentially have a dialogue of some sorts. So that's what's new to us is YouTube Live. One of the reasons we wanted to do this is, yes, you are returning to the building. You know the layout of the building. You know where your classrooms would be, when you look at your schedule. However, there's a lot of new things this year. And we wanted to just talk to you about a little bit of that and then, take some questions from you, if you do have any. So like I said, there's new things this year in our building, and we wanted to, welcome you back. There is a video that's coming out, district-wide video, where each school highlights some of the changes for this year, some of the processes from what lunches to hallways to classroom. So later this week, keep an eye out for a video that will probably be posted on our district website that will highlight some of these key areas that for you to expect when you return. Our goal here is to, answer some questions that we received throughout the last week or so. When we did email out about this YouTube Live event, we did get some questions sent to a Google form. So we have answered some of those, and we're going to. You might not specifically hear Johnny asked or Sally asked this question. What we did was try to group things together to be able to answer some of the questions that maybe multiple people have asked. So with that said, I hope you did have a nice summer. It always goes quick for us, but we're excited to welcome you back. One of the first questions we got was regarding Chromebooks, for this year and what that looks like. So, Mr. O, do you want to talk about Chromebooks?
Yeah, so Chromebooks, there's going to be a distribution day, 2 days actually, this Thursday and Friday. This Thursday for 7th graders is going to be, if your last name ends A through K, will be at 12 p.m. and ending at 1 p.m. 7th grade students with the last names that start with L through Z, your pickup for Chromebooks will be from 1:30 to 2:30. On Friday is for 8th grade. Friday for A through K last names is from 9 to 10 a.m. And then for last names with L through Z will be from 10:30 to 11:30. Now take place in the back of the building at SOMS. For Chromebooks, you are going to be required to bring them back and forth, whatever group you're in, A or B. We strongly recommend that you keep your Chromebooks charged overnight as soon as you get home from school to make sure that they're ready to go.
Yeah. So along those, thanks for that information. I think that's going to be helpful to a lot of families. In addition, we realize that families are juggling a lot right now. So we have put a alternate pickup time for Chromebooks, and that's going to be next Tuesday, the 8th, and we're looking to do it between 4 and 6 p.m. So if that works for you and you can't make one of these times, we hope that helps. If none of those times work when students come into the building, during their week, and if they do need a Chromebook, we can look to get it to them that week as well. So hopefully, between those three options, one of those will work best for you. The other thing that's come up with Chromebooks is parents might have indicated in the survey that I don't need one at this time and then change their answer. So anybody that needs a Chromebook, you can come during this distribution time. Remember, we asked that you come around with a parent. We don't want people walking up or walking in if you do live by close to school. And we already sent out some information regarding that. So that's Chromebook pickups. That's coming up this week. The other couple items I want to talk about is schedules. Either if you're a 7th or 8th grader, you notice that this year is different with how to access your schedule. In the past, we've mailed home a summer mailing packet. For multiple reasons, we have decided to make this all online through our parent portal. So hopefully many of you were able to get on and see your schedules already. They did become available early last week on the parent portal. When you are in school, you'll be following your schedule, going to the different classrooms that are listed on it. However, you're probably wondering this same question that we had, a while ago as well, is if the first week of school, September 8th through 11th, is virtual, how do I know where to go for my classes virtually? And that's an excellent question. What we will be doing, if you remember back into the springtime, when we started in March, we put up a Google Doc where each teacher listed their Google Classrooms. And we're going to be doing something very similar to that. Over the course of the next few days, when teachers are in, they're going to be indicating in a chart, where their name is, their period, and what their Google Classroom code is, or whatever platform they might be using that you can access. And we're going to be e-blasting that out or putting it on our webpage towards the end of the week. So prior to Tuesday, September 8th, you'll be able to see the Google Classrooms of all your teachers or the equivalent, and you'll be able to log in and subscribe to those classrooms. And again, that's going to be coming out later this week, so that by the first day of school, you would be able to access that classroom. Within that classroom, most likely teachers will put a Zoom link or a Google Meet link where you can Zoom in with or Google Meet in with that particular teacher. As I said, first week of school, the 8th through the 11th, is virtual for every student. Group B, which is the L through Z last name, will start in person the week of the 14th. The following week would be Group A, and then we would rotate back and forth with that. A good question that somebody asked was, what about cycle days? And again, great question. That was one of the questions that came to our minds when we first were developing this plan as well. We're going to stick with the same 6-day cycle that we've always had, and it's going to be consistent. Whether it's a day you're in school or a day at home, the 6-day cycle is going to be the same for every student, whether in school or virtually. Our cycle days will continue to be on our Google Calendar that you can access from our SOMS homepage as well. So again, we'll keep with our 6-day cycle, and it will be going starting on the 8th, and we'll keep going days 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So that is the 6-day cycle. Another couple questions we got, and again, these were great questions, and I'm glad that they were asked, was about band and PE. Regarding our lockers, we're not going to start off the year with students having access to the lockers. But you are able to bring a backpack with you, and your teachers will work with you in terms of what materials and supplies to keep at home versus what you need to bring into school. So you will be allowed backpacks as you're entering the building and going to your classes. Mr. O, do you want to talk about band and PE?
Yeah. So in terms of PE and lockers, there's not going to be any locker distribution for PE this year. In terms of band, there are lockers there available. However, it's really not, we're not expecting you to carry around your instrument all day long. So what we're asking you to do is to please reach out to your music teacher ahead of time and make arrangements, to leave your instrument with them in some area at some time. Good
tips. Thank you. Before I came to South Arlington Middle School, I was a music teacher. And I remember a lot of the questions I got the first day was, do I need my instrument for that first day? Great question. You don't need it for your first day. Your music teachers will work with you and explain how you would be bringing them to school, where you were leaving them, and how you can pick them up as we get moving through the year. A couple other questions that came up, and again, I want to put ourselves in front of the video that's coming out that will explain some of these things, but a couple of the questions did get asked regarding what our hallways are going to look like. We are looking to, I told you, not have lockers. We are looking to have social distancing reminders in our hallways. We are also, if you notice the bell schedule, and if you haven't seen our bell schedule for this year, you can access it by going to our SOMS homepage for students, and then there's a link for a bell schedule. Our classes are about 38 minutes long this year, and right now we put a 15-minute homeroom in the beginning of the day and then a longer time for dismissal at the end. That way we can stagger arrivals and dismissal times. The other thing I probably should have started with before is when you come to school on the first day, you're used to coming in, if you're here before 8:10, you would go one of the holding areas, either cafeteria, auditorium, or gymnasium. This year, we are not having those. What we are doing is delaying the arrival time. So no student can enter the building till at 8:10 a.m. at the earliest. And then you would go directly to your period 1 homeroom class. As you know, homeroom is attached to period 1, so it's not a separate movement. You would be going directly to your homeroom and period 1 class. But that's an important thing that I want to reiterate, and we've said that in some communications to families, is there is no drop off earlier than 8:10 this year. In the past, it used to be 7:40. For various reasons, that drop off would not be occurring till 8:10 as we start the school year. So families, please plan accordingly. That drop offs cannot be any earlier than 8:10 this year. Lunch, a couple of questions were about lunch. It's important to us that students get outside, especially in the circumstances that we're in. So we are looking to continue having recess. It might look a little different, but what we're looking to do is make sure everybody has an opportunity to get outside. So lunch right now is going to take kind of a twofold thing. We're going to have half of the grade that's here eat in the cafeteria. We've removed the cafeteria tables and put socially distant desks in the cafeteria, along with putting the divider up in the middle. So it's essentially 2 smaller cafeterias. Students will eat for half the period. They will go outside. The other half will start outside, and then they will eat in the auditorium. That will allow us to be able to clean both those areas and have time before the next group comes into the lunch period. So that's what we're anticipating right now in terms of how our lunch and recess will work. Another couple questions we got in Mr. O. Maybe you can elaborate on this for everybody. Mask and facial coverings. Mr. O, you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so we staff members here got some new face masks in. I'll give you guys kind of a model right here. And as you notice, this face mask covers your entire face, okay? There's no openings or anything like that. And, I could tighten it from the back. I'm not saying you have to have this exact same one, but this is kind of the, typical model for face masks. If you're not sure, what type of face masks work, please go to the reopening plan on SOCSD. There was an update as well for the cloth face coverings. Students are always required to wear a mask or cloth facial covering with the exception of meal services. So this includes in all common areas of the school building, in all hallways, restrooms, classrooms, and during recess as well.
Right. And we will be, working with our staff, to provide some opportunities for, mask breaks, throughout our school day. But it is very important that your masks remain on while you're in school and on the bus.
And we also encourage you guys to wash your hands as much as possible throughout the day. Take advantage of the many hand sanitizers that are up in the building. We've put up new ones as well. Classroom layout. There's a question about that as well. And that's going to come up in the movie, right?
Yeah.
That was made not too long ago. That's going to be released.
Yeah. What you're going to see, when you see some of your classrooms, is less desks in there. You're going to see less furniture in there, and you're going to see desks that are spaced out. You're going to see areas that are marked for what we call teacher zones, which would be an area for that teacher, to teach. So again, you'll see some visuals of that on the video and what it looks like to enter the building and the screening process and all that as well. We had one more, question that I'll get to, but if you have a question that we didn't ask, I think the chat is enabled. So if you want to, type something in, we'll try to answer it the best we can and try to keep track of that. Another great question somebody asked is clubs. Are clubs existing this year? We are looking to have clubs exist. However, like many things, they're going to look different. Right now, students are not going to be coming early to school and they're not going to be staying late. So we're going to be working with our teachers and our club advisors, to offer clubs virtually. It's going to take some planning and some rethinking, but we believe that the club experience is important for all students. And if you remember, probably back to your 6th grade orientation days, we did talk about the importance of trying new clubs, making new friends. So we do want to offer this, as best we can. So we are looking to have our clubs continue, or as many of them as we can. And we're going to be working on, coming up with a format for that, what that looks like virtually. So stay tuned for more information, regarding our clubs. Mr. O, is there any other questions that you had that anybody asked?
Can children eat their lunch outside. Just
yeah,
in.
Great question. We're looking at that and seeing how we can accommodate that. I think we also want to have a plan for if the weather doesn't cooperate. So we want to have a spot for every student to have lunch inside, in case the weather does not cooperate. But we are trying to maximize in general our outdoor space as much as we can. A couple questions are coming in, so I'll see if we can explain them.
I can answer the gym locker. So
Okay.
What if someone left something in the gym locker? Can they get it back? Well, like I said earlier, we're not going to be using gym lockers this year. If you're worried about something from last year, we did have a locker distribution day, and we did combine, the stuff from PE lockers with your regular lockers. So maybe you go check your bag from when you picked up your things from your locker from last year.
Another question. I'm confused about how the 6-day cycle works. Good question. It's the same as it's been. That's probably the simplest answer. Regardless if you're home or in school or we're all virtual, we're still going to be following a 6-day cycle. Another question. What type of lunch is it? Hot or cold? That's a good question. Lunch this year needs to be pre-ordered. And I think some information came out about that, or it's going to be coming out, again. Lunch, you can't decide right at the beginning of lunch that I want something, to eat. Obviously, if you don't have lunch, we'll work with you so you don't go hungry for the day. But lunch is pre-ordered by families the week ahead of time, and it's going to be boxed lunch, and you're going to be able to pick it up as you walk through the cafeteria. So it's not an a la carte where you can, look at what's available and then decide.
Someone asked if they have a laptop, do they still need to get a Chromebook? No, you could use your laptop from home and to bring it into school.
Yeah, great question. Another question was, if I'm staying home, how do I get my textbooks? That's something we're in the process of figuring out. There are some books that students need. A lot of our materials and our textbooks are online, but as we do get up and running, we'll look at creating some type of distribution where students who are virtual, are able to get their items. Athletics. You want to take that one?
We're looking for updates, right?
Yeah, we're looking for some updates. If you watch the news, or have seen any communications from our athletic, department here, we are looking to, keep updated, and we'll let you know as to, the status of anything, modified.
Someone asked, do we need to wear masks in the hallway and the classes, even if we're social distancing? Yes, it is encouraged and, requiring that all staff and students have their masks on.
Right. So I would think, that has gone back and forth. So it is required, that the mask is to be on at all times during the day, unless you are eating lunch or you're directed by your teacher for a mask break. So that's, I think, as direct of an answer that we can give you, is that they are need to be on for the entire day. We talked about fall sports. Group A does start in school September 21st. That's a good question. If we didn't order a Chromebook earlier, how do we change that request? You can let us know. However, if you need a Chromebook, please come at that time. We're anticipating and planning to have one for any student that needs a Chromebook. Another good question.
Does Group A start September 21st in school? Yep. That's when Group A starts.
All right. So how many times do we get a breathing break for the masks? We're putting together schedules. It might be different, each day depending on what the weather might be. But we are looking to provide mask breaks for students. We're hoping to get outside as much as we can, so that, you can have that mask break outside. Recess, again, is something important that we want students, to be able to, go outside, but masks will be required when you're outside at recess as well. There's a question about face masks. What I would suggest is please look at our reopening plan where it's specific as to the type of mask, that you need.
Yeah, under the health and safety section.
Right. Another question was, if we originally signed up to do in-school learning, can we change to do it virtually? Yes, and that's a great question. I'll try to explain both those scenarios. If you signed up, or if your parents signed up or your family indicated that you were coming in for a hybrid model, at any point you can opt into virtual learning. However, if you are in virtual learning and you want to come back into the 50% hybrid model, you need to indicate that to us. And the district has indicated that it could take up to 30 days for you to return. Our hope is that it won't take that long, but it allows time to make sure that we can accommodate you back in your classes. So again, going virtual can happen almost immediately. Coming back to a hybrid model, up to 30 days. Again, that's not, we're hoping that it doesn't take that long, but there is some time needed, to make sure that we can, accommodate into your classes. If fall sports get canceled, will there be spring sports? I hope so. I think that's going to be, to be determined. We want to get students back up doing all those extracurriculars as best we can and as safely as we can. And, there's going to be, district, state, the guidelines as to which we will follow. Are students going to school daily? So I think what that question is, and it's been in our reopening plan, if students have a IEP, will they be afforded the opportunity to come to school daily? And that question is yes. Our case managers, will be in contact with families as they've done in the past, but we are looking to offer students with an IEP to come into school daily. And we'll get more specific as to what that looks like for those students. But it would be different. It would look different on that off week as opposed to your on week.
So somebody asked, how will we find our classes on the first day? So virtually, Dr. Corey alluded to it before, that your classroom codes will be e-blasted out, and you could, depending on which platform, most of them are going to be Google Classroom. You could, type in the code and you're set up and ready to go. Mm-hmm. What I do recommend though is, once those codes are released, don't wait to, maybe that first day. You might want to kind of log in, make sure your username and password's ready to go, and your Google Classroom is set up as well.
All right. So those hopefully will be, our plan is to get those out to you the end of this week. Those are a lot of excellent questions. And, to be fully upfront with you all, there's about 107 people on right now. Those are all questions that we had, as well, that we worked through. So you've been spot on with your questions. Not surprising, to us that your questions are, to this level, but we do, appreciate that. The other thing is we're going to know there are going to be more questions, as it arises, and we're going to be working together, to answer them the best we can. I see one more question, maybe before we sign off for now. What was the 6-day schedule you were talking about earlier? Good question. So if you look on your schedule, or if you remember from previous years when we've been here, we operate on a 6-day schedule. 6-day cycle. For most of you, it's even and odd. Is it an odd day or is it an even day? But in reality, that's broken down a little bit more to days 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we're looking to follow that same schedule. How do you manage kids in the hallway during recess? All right. So we're looking at, obviously, we're going to have less students in the building. We're looking to socially distance as we are walking. That might be staggering as we might leave the cafeteria to go to recess. Having reminders in the hallway. Our staff will be, reminding students as well. And the reality is that it's going to be a team effort amongst all of us, to make sure we're doing our part, to be as safe as possible when we are in school. But that is an excellent question. Again, no lockers, so there won't be any stopping at lockers. If you remember in the past, you might be walking in the hallway and you might have to zigzag a little bit if somebody's at their locker. We're not doing that right now. Another great question. Thank you for bringing this up. Do we have a school email and how we would be able to get it if we are new? If you are a returning student, your Google Suite, where you go on, you have access to Gmail. So what I would make sure we do is that you can log into that. If you are a new student, there is an onboarding process where your accounts will be created, for you. We are looking to potentially reach out to our new entrances later this week. Our counselors are working on a schedule now where we can try to help onboard our new students as quick as possible. Question, what if someone refuses to wear a face mask? Wearing a face mask is part of our code of conduct now. By discussing this with everybody now and going over the importance of it, we want to be proactive. But, the district has put the wearing of face masks into the school's code of conducts. To me, that seems like all the questions that we have. Again, they were great questions. And Mr. O, this was our first time kind of going through this process of a YouTube live event. I see us probably doing something, similar, as we get up and running again. But it's been very helpful to us to see your questions. Obviously, if the more questions come up, we'll continue to all work together to answer them and provide information. But if there's anything else, Mr. O, we're good?
There was just one question. When will they get the bus schedule?
Bus schedule, yeah. If you have a question on that, I would reach out to the transportation department. Our Michelle Stevens is the person that you would be able to contact, regarding that. somebody said thank you, and we'll say you're welcome. And we're excited that we got to be able to communicate and touch base with everybody. So with that said, we'll sign off for now. We'll see some of you for Chromebooks distribution, and we hope everybody had a good summer, and we'll see you soon.
Bye, guys.
Take care.